Not the kind that demands attention, but the kind that breathes, endures, and rises again without needing to be seen. You look back at the roads that nearly destroyed you and feel a strange sense of gratitude, not because the pain was fair, not because the loss was easy, but because something in you refused to die there. There is a moment when you finally understand that life is not about avoiding storms. It is about learning how to let the rain touch you without drowning in it. You begin to let go, not of the memories, but of the weight they carried. You begin to forgive, not because they deserve it, but because your heart does. You begin to breathe again, fully, deeply, as if each breath is a promise to keep moving, no matter how dark the night becomes. Epictetus whispered a truth centuries ago: no man is free who is not master of himself. And slowly, quietly, painfully, you become your own master. You stop waiting for life to get easier. You stop hoping for someone to come save you. You stop running from the reality that shapes you. Instead, you turn inward. You face what hurts. You name what scares you. You embrace what you used to hide from. And in that embrace, something changes. You start to recognize your own strength. The way you've held yourself upright when everything around you fell apart. The way you continued when the world felt too heavy. The way you kept searching for meaning, for light, for yourself. You are not who you were then. You have walked through fire. You have carried burdens that would break others. You have endured nights that felt endless. But you are still here, breathing, standing, rising. And there is a kind of beauty only survivors know, a kind of wisdom carved into the bones by the hands of suffering, a kind of strength you cannot learn in peace. You begin to understand that everything you lost taught you how to value what remains. Everything that broke you revealed what was unbreakable. Everything that left you opened space for what is coming. You realize your story is not over. It never was. It was only paused in the places where you needed to grow. And now you walk forward with a quieter heart, a clearer mind, and a strength shaped by fire. Not chasing anything, not proving anything, just becoming everything you were meant to be. The world will ask you who you are. Life will test you to find out. Pain will shape you until you know the answer. And when you speak it, when you finally stand in your truth, you will realize something powerful. You were never broken. You were becoming. You walk farther into yourself, into the quiet places you once feared, and you discover something unexpected. A calm that does not leave, even when the world shakes. It is the calm of someone who has seen darkness and learned not to run. The calm of someone who understands that storms do not take your strength. They reveal it. You begin to notice how the small things return first. A breath that feels lighter, a morning that no longer hurts to wake into, a thought that doesn't spiral into fear, a moment of peace, so fragile. You almost don't trust it, but you let it stay. You let it grow. You learn to sit with your emotions without drowning in them. You learn to hold your own heart without crushing it. You learn that being gentle is not weakness. It is mastery. The world taught you to fight. Pain taught you to survive. But wisdom teaches you to listen. You start hearing the truth beneath all the noise. You are allowed to rest without quitting. You are allowed to bend without breaking. You are allowed to heal without rushing. You stand in front of a mirror one day and see a face both familiar and new. A face shaped by trials, but not defined by them. A face that carries the story of someone who didn't give up. And for the first time in a long time, you whisper to yourself, "I'm still here." Those words echo in your chest, soft, steady, true. You begin trusting life again, not because it became easier, but because you became deeper. You begin trusting yourself again, not because you are perfect, but because you are present. There is a moment, quiet, almost invisible, when you realize you no longer fear falling, because you have fallen before. You have shattered. You have crawled through nights that felt endless, and yet you rose. You always rose. So why fear what you've already survived? Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And suddenly, you understand. Most of the walls around you were built by your own fears. Most of the limits you believed in were never real. Most of the battles you fought were shadows, not monsters. You start letting go of the old stories, the ones that told you you were not enough, the ones that told you You were broken. The ones that told you your time had passed, you let them fall, like leaves in a season that no longer belongs to you. Because you're not who you were. You're becoming someone new, someone stronger, someone softer, someone wiser, someone the past version of you would barely recognize. You feel something awakening, a direction, a purpose, a quiet certainty that the worst is behind you and the real journey is ahead. Not the journey of running, not the journey of escaping, the journey of becoming. You take a step, then another. Not fast, not dramatic, but intentional. And each step feels like a promise to treat yourself better, to honor your scars, to walk with courage, even when courage feels small. You understand now that healing is not an event. It is a practice, a devotion, a slow, steady return to the person you were always meant to be. The world watches your transformation in silence, as if it knows that this time the change is real. This time you are not rising from anger, not rising from fear, not rising to prove anyone wrong. You are rising because your soul is finally ready to breathe. The weight you carried begins to feel lighter, not because it disappeared, but because you grew strong enough to hold it without breaking. Epictetus said, "Circumstances don't make the man, they only reveal him to himself." And now you see who you truly are, a survivor, a seeker, a soul returning home after wandering in the dark. The road ahead is long, but this time you walk it with open eyes, a grounded heart, and a quiet fire that nothing can put out. You walk forward, not because the path is clear, but because your spirit refuses to stay where it once shattered. And with each step, you feel the weight of old wounds loosening, falling away like dust shaken from the bones. The world looks different now, not softer, not kinder, but more honest. You finally see it for what it is, a place where nothing is promised, yet everything is possible. Where loss is real, but so is rebirth. Where pain is sharp, but transformation is sharper. You begin to understand that life was never trying to break you. It was trying to shape you into someone capable of carrying more strength than you ever believed lived within you. Someone capable of finding meaning where others only find misery. Someone who knows that the darkest nights carry the seeds of the brightest mornings. You stop rushing. You stop forcing. You let life unfold in its slow, patient rhythm. You start asking different questions. Not why did this happen to me, but what is this trying to teach me? Not when will this end, but how can I grow while I endure it? Not who hurt me, but who am I becoming because of it? These questions do not erase the pain, but they give it purpose. They turn scars into symbols. They turn wounds into wisdom. They turn you into a deeper version of yourself. There are moments when emotion rises without warning. Memories that sting, regrets that whisper, fears that tighten like a knot around your chest. But now, you do not hide from them. You sit with them. You breathe through them. You let them pass, the way storms pass over mountains, touching the surface, but never moving the roots. You have become your own mountain, unshaken, unmoved, weathered, yet standing. One day, without noticing, you smile at something small. A breeze on your face, a warm light in the morning, a quiet thought that carries hope. Hope, a word you once buried, now finding its way back to you, not as a shout, not as a promise, as a seed, soft, alive, growing. You begin to imagine new futures. You begin to see new roads. You begin to trust that you are allowed to dream again. The fear is still there, but it no longer commands you. The pain still echoes, but it no longer defines you. The past still lives in memory, but it no longer lives in your bones. You are lighter, stronger, more honest with yourself, more patient with your journey. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." And slowly, gently, you shift that estimate. You stop seeing your past as a prison. You see it as a passage. You stop seeing your wounds as failures. You see them as foundations. You stop seeing yourself as broken. You see yourself as becoming. The world around you begins to reflect that change. People feel the steadiness in you, the calm, the clarity, the quiet power of someone who has faced themselves and learned to stand anyway. You realize you don't need to prove anything. Not to them, not to the world, not even to yourself. Your existence is enough. Your journey is enough. Your progress, slow, imperfect, unwavering, is enough. You have walked through fires that should have turned you to ash, but instead, you became the flame. Now, when darkness returns, and it will, you greet it the way a warrior greets an old opponent, without fear, without panic, without surrender, because you remember something you once forgot. You have survived every version of the night, and you will survive this one too. There's no turning back now. There is only becoming wiser, becoming freer, becoming whole. The journey continues, as long as you are willing to walk it. There comes a moment when the road ahead no longer feels like a burden, but an invitation to meet the person you were always meant to grow into. You feel it quietly at first, a shift inside you, a soft alignment between your pain and your purpose. The storms of your past no longer frighten you. They shaped your footing. They taught you how to stand in rain without shrinking from the cold. You move differently now, not with haste, not with fear, but with presence. Each step lands with intention. Each breath carries meaning. Each moment feels like a chance to rewrite the way you live. You begin to understand that the journey of self-mastery is not about control. It is about clarity. Clarity of what you can change. Clarity of what you must release. Clarity of who you truly are beneath the noise of the world. And in that clarity, your heart begins to settle. Not because life has grown gentle, but because you have. You stop fighting everything. You stop arguing with the past. You stop resisting the reality that has already shaped you. Instead, you listen, you learn, you allow. You discover that peace was never the absence of struggle. It was the acceptance of it. Slowly, you return to yourself, to the dreams you once silenced, to the passions you buried under fear and doubt, to the voice inside you that waited patiently for the noise to fade. You remember what it felt like to want something deeply, not from desperation, but from truth. That truth begins to guide you, not with lightning, not with clarity all at once, but with a quiet pull, as if something inside you is finally pointing north. You walk toward it, one steady breath at a time, and the world, for the first time, begins to open for you. Not because it changed, but because your eyes have. You begin seeing opportunity where you once saw obstacles, strength where you once saw scars, potential where you once saw endings. Life reveals itself as a series of beginnings disguised as losses. Every heartbreak taught you how to cherish. Every disappointment taught you how to discern. Every fall taught you how to rise. You realize now, none of it was wasted. None of it was meaningless. None of it was for nothing. Your story was carved in the language of survival, and now it speaks in the language of becoming. There are days when doubt returns, whispers its old familiar lines, tries to pull you back to the version of yourself that lived in fear, but you're different now. You meet doubt with patience, with honesty, with a steady heart and an unshaken spine. You remind yourself of the mountains you've climbed, the storms you've crossed, the nights you outlived, despite believing you couldn't. You remind yourself that nothing inside you is fragile anymore. You've become someone who doesn't break. You bend, you breathe, you rebuild. Your resilience has become your language. Your calm has become your armor. Your hope has become your compass. There's a fire in you now, not loud, not wild, but constant. A flame that does not flicker when the world grows cold. A flame born from pain, crafted in silence. Fed by courage, you finally feel ready. Maybe not ready for everything, but ready for yourself. Ready to forgive, ready to let go, ready to build again, ready to walk forward without dragging the old world behind you. The horizon ahead doesn't intimidate you anymore. It calls to you, not with promises, but with possibility, not with certainty, but with freedom. And as you step toward it, slow, steady, unwavering, you realize something profound. You are no longer surviving your life. You are shaping it, breath by breath, choice by choice, moment by moment. This is what transformation feels like. Not sudden, not dramatic, but real. and deeply, deeply yours. There comes a point when you stop looking back entirely, not because the past no longer matters, but because you finally understand it cannot offer anything new. Its lessons are learned, its shadows are named, its grip on you has quietly dissolved. You stand in the present now, fully, deeply, without apology. And for the first time, the present feels wide, open, unfinished, a place where you are allowed to rewrite the story without dragging every old chapter into the next page. You feel the shift inside your chest, that subtle realignment between your heart and your path. You start carrying yourself differently, not with arrogance, not with fear, but with a quiet certainty that whatever comes, you will meet it with who you have become. There is a strength in you now that no one can see from the outside, a strength built in silence, in loneliness, in nights that asked everything of you, yet left you standing. This strength is not loud. It does not shout. It does not demand. It simply remains. Solid, grounded, honest. You begin noticing how deeply you've changed. In the small moments, the way anger no longer owns you, the way fear no longer blinds you, the way sadness no longer dissolves you. You feel emotions, but you no longer drown in them. You carry them, but you no longer collapse under their weight. This is mastery, not perfection, not control, but understanding. You understand your mind now, its chaos, its stories, its tricks, its tenderness. You understand your heart, its wounds, its longing, its depth, its quiet brilliance. And you understand your pain, not as an enemy, but as a sculptor. Everything that hurt you also carved you. Everything that broke you also shaped you. It didn't feel like it then. It never does. But pain, too, has a purpose. Marcus Aurelius said, "Whatever happens to you has been waiting to happen since the beginning of time." And somehow, those words no longer sound heavy. They sound freeing, because you see now that nothing in your story was accidental. Not the losses, not the detours, not the endings. Even the moments that felt pointless now reveal their meaning. Even the heartbreaks now show their hidden gifts. You grew through what you thought would destroy you. You matured through what you thought you'd never survive. You rose from places you thought you'd stay forever. And now something subtle awakens inside you. The belief that your life is still unfolding in ways you cannot see yet. You begin dreaming again. Not wildly, not desperately, but sincerely. You begin wanting again, not from lack, but from possibility. You begin opening again, not because the world is safe, but because you are. You've earned the right to step forward, to choose, to build, to breathe without fear of what might crumble. Because you know now, even if it crumbles, you will rise again. You've done it before. You've done it quietly. You've done it without witnesses. You've done it without applause. Rising is a part of you now. A muscle, a memory, etched into your very being. Your future feels different when you realize that nothing ahead is greater than what you've already endured. You can handle what comes. You can hold what arrives. You can survive what leaves. You can rebuild from nothing because you already have. And this time, you're not rising from ashes. You're rising from awareness, from wisdom, from presence, from a strength that was earned the hard way. The path in front of you no longer feels like a threat. It feels like a promise that you are ready, a promise that you are capable, a promise that your story is far from over. The horizon glows with possibility, quiet and steady, waiting for your steps. And for once in your life, you don't hesitate. You walk